wanted to talk about the importance of switching over to non-toxic cleaning products. I really, for me, I had the diet piece nailed in, dairy-free, gluten-free, corn-free, but for some reason, I couldn't wrap my head around switching out my cleaning chemicals. It just seemed too overwhelming and too much of a pain. So I put it off for years. It really, when I did it, it was super easy. I didn't have to inhale all these different chemicals from my laundry detergent to my, my dish detergent to the sprays that I use. And we're exposed to over 85,000 different chemicals. So this episode talks about the importance of switching it over, why it matters for our fertility. And also Allison, the guest, actually recommends a documentary that I hadn't seen yet. It's on Netflix called Stink. So this really is an awesome documentary, nails home the importance of making these switches and all the chemicals that we're exposed to. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. Feel free to leave a review on iTunes and take care. I don't know whether you've heard, but I'm offering some spaces in my calendar for Supercharge Your Fertility Discovery Calls. So this call is for you if you're ready to get pregnant naturally or improve your chances at the fertility clinic. We take a functional approach to fertility. It's the future of conventional medicine. So there's a reason that so many medical professionals who are trying to conceive work with us. The approach is rooted in science. So the call is for both you and your partner. Go to FabFertile, FabFertile.com and click on book a free call. Then you'll be booked in and ready to spend 30 of the most valuable minutes ever on your fertility. So that's FabFertile, FabFertile.com, and click on the link to book a free call.
The reason that it's important to get those completely out of your life in terms of things, like candles and dryer sheets and Glade plugins is because they're endocrine disruptors. So they literally mimic our natural hormones. They attach to our hormone receptor sites and they can really wreak havoc on the entire endocrine system.
Welcome to Get Pregnant Naturally, where functional medicine and natural fertility solutions will help you get pregnant and have your baby. Hey there, I'm Sarah Clark, and my mission is to inspire, motivate, and empower you. And most of all, I want you to wake up. So with functional medicine, we can discover what causes infertility and eventually reverse the condition. Today, I'm welcoming Alison Evans to the podcast, and we're digging into the impact of environmental toxins on fertility. Allison is a co-founder of Branch Basics and lives in Texas. After coming down with mysterious chronic pain during college that led her to see the country's best doctors, she finally experienced true healing after moving to the Hill Country to live with her Aunt Marilee Nelson. There, she lived in an environment free of all toxic chemicals and ate only real, whole foods, and her symptoms completely disappeared. This clean lifestyle also reversed one of the worst cases of PCOS her OBGYN had ever seen, allowing her to naturally and easily conceive 2 healthy babies. Allison's healing journey inspired her to co-found Branch Basics, as she is beyond passionate about helping others experience the power of pure. Allison loves researching all things holistic parenting, cooking healthy meals, finding clean brands to use, and recommending helping others navigate their health journeys. Check out her website at branchbasics.com. And before we jump into today's show, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on iTunes or wherever you're listening to this to make sure you never miss an episode. Hey, Allison, excited to have you on the podcast.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So if you could share your story and really how you came to do this work.
Yes, I would love to. And it can kind of be long, so I'm going to try to nutshell it a little bit. But I feel like without hearing the story, it's hard to really understand kind of the passion about what I'm doing and what our company is standing for and why we're selling cleaning products, because I didn't grow up wanting to sell soap. And also I feel like it just paints a really good picture of how, toxins that we put in on and around our bodies really just directly affect our health. And so, my story really started in 6th grade when I had a period and then it never came back. And so at the time when you're a 6th grader, you're kind of like, sweet, I don't have to worry about tampons and pads and blood and look at me go. But then come high school, you start wondering, is there something going on with my body? And so that's where my mom actually took me to fertility specialist here in Houston. And he diagnosed me with the worst case of PCOS that he had ever seen. I had thousands of cysts on my ovaries, and I didn't have any of the regular symptoms of PCOS. I wasn't, overweight. I didn't have facial hair. I wasn't 40. But he basically said, look, you're likely not going to be able to get pregnant on your own. but we have, advanced fertility treatments, and here is birth control. You definitely need to be on this until you're ready to conceive. And that was kind of it. Yeah. I mean, great guy, but just not really the diagnosis that I needed to hear. And honestly, it just ended up not being my story. And so at the time, I claimed it as my story. I didn't know anything but that. And moving forward, I was in college and I came down with, completely unrelated, we thought, although now we know the body, everything happens for a reason. It's very holistic, but I came down with symptoms that basically emulated MS. And so I was losing motor skills. I was in chronic pain from my, my cheeks to my feet. And I remember one day I think I was a sophomore in college. I reached for the milk carton back when I was, drink cow's milk every morning. And I just fell to the floor. So I was losing a lot of motor skills, and it was just a scary time. And I didn't know what this was going to look like for my future. And that is when I started talking to my Aunt Marilee, because I had, seen all the specialists. I had traveled the United States going to neurologists and, doing EKGs and MRIs and x-rays and CAT scans. I was on painkillers, muscle relaxers. I mean, you name it, sleeping pills, antidepressants, and nothing was really working. And my Aunt Marilee basically, told me about how the things that I'm putting in, on, and around my body are directly affecting its ability to heal on its own. And that our bodies have this amazing, powerful propensity to run in the direction of healing if we will just get out of their way. So, at first I thought, this is just wacko. Like, why would I talk to all of these doctors and all these specialists and be on all these drugs and nothing's helping? And you're telling me that this products I've been using my entire life, or that I seem to be fine before with, are all of a sudden, rocking my boat and making me have all this pain. And, the thing that I liked about her message is that it actually put the power back in my court, and it gave me something to do. She asked me questions that no one else had, like, what, foods are you eating? What oils are you eating? What's your 3-day diet diary? Have you recently remodeled or moved into a brand new, house or apartment? Did you recently paint? What are your, daily exposures? Do you use pesticides? What do you use in your hair? I thought, okay, I like that I can at least change the things that she's thinking could be causing this. And sure enough, I mean, I'm one of those people that, especially when I'm in pain or, I'm ready to get out of a situation, I am all in. So, I ditched my Splenda, I ditched my 100-calorie packs, my pesticides, my fragrant candles, my dryer sheets, and noticed a huge difference in my pain and my health and my energy levels and just kind of everything. And so Kelly, my business partner, was rooming with me at the time, and we were, still at University of Texas. And we decided we're going to go live with Marilee for the summer and see what this whole message is all about. And so that's the summer that really changed everything, back in 2009, I believe. And we just started soaking up all this knowledge about toxins and how they affect our health. And we, we're doing things like juicing, back when juicing was like orange juice and grapefruit juice. Yeah. It was like, no, we're talking celery and beets and, romaine lettuce. I'm like, oh, okay. Nowadays it's like everyone knows what juicing is. Right. But, and really within 8 weeks of eating a clean diet free of chemicals and living in this really clean environment with low electromagnetic fields, we weren't using Wi-Fi, we were doing all the things. And my body just, blossomed, and I was off of all of my drugs by the end of the summer. So in 8 weeks, I was pain-free and just so passionate about getting the word out about toxic chemicals. Yeah, that's kind of my story and how we got into this. And in terms of really, going directly into the cleaning realm, we actually didn't even do that. In the very beginning, we were offering infrared saunas and air purifiers and organic mattresses. And, within the slew of organic, healthy, non-toxic products was this one, formula, this one cleaning concentrate that we now sell as Branch Basics. But we found that people were just overwhelmed by this whole, onslaught of products and didn't know where to start. And we didn't want people to throw their hands up and decide not to do anything. So we just decided we're just going to focus on the cleaning, because who doesn't clean, or who, if you don't, then there's a whole bigger issue there. and it's an easy place to start. And we found that when we would listen to Marilee doing all of her, consultations, because she's an environmental and dietary health consultant. And so the whole summer we were just listening to all of her, client calls with permission, of course. And she would always start with, okay, let's get the toxic cleaners out of your home. And so it's just an easy place to start. And we wanted to create a formula that could then replace all of those toxic cleaners that was not only safe, but also effective. So
yeah, well, thanks for that, so much for sharing that story. I just find a lot of people that come to be so passionate about these kind of topics usually have just hit rock bottom and have such a story. And for you, it will be basically having your back against the wall and seeing all these specialists across the states and still, nothing's working. And then you make these seemingly small changes, but in functional medicine and integrated medicine, holistic medicine, all that stuff matters, and it matters way more than going first to conventional. So
right, exactly. And I mean, I should end the story by actually telling the great part.
Yeah.
I went back to the original OB-GYN who had taken my sonograms, and I had been living this lifestyle for about a year and a half. And I went back, and all the cysts, but a couple were gone. So I had totally reversed PCOS and all the symptoms that it came with. And then a couple of years later, I woke up, and all of a sudden I had my second natural period of my life. So the first one was in 6th grade. And then I got pregnant with both of my babies very easily. The second one was kind of a surprise. And I had them both naturally and easily. So that was just, a true testament to what the body can do if given, the right environment and diet.
Absolutely. Awesome. Okay. So as far as going into the non-toxic products, so why is this so important for our health and fertility? This is really the first place we start with our clients as well. Actually, a lot of times people don't even know their sanitary, their feminine hygiene, their tampons, their pads, those are laced with glyphosate and all sorts of other harmful things. So looking at that, and then looking at your cleaning products and personal care. So so why is this so important for health and fertility?
Yes. Well, one of the things that we would talk about first, especially when it comes to the endocrine system, is that most of the products that we're using contain fragrance or parfum, is what you look at on a label. And if you smell something, you really want to make sure that your ingredients include an essential oil or whatever. If you're smelling peppermint, you want to see peppermint on the label. If you see fragrance or parfum, then those are synthetically derived, and they can be a concoction of several of 3,100 different chemicals that are allowed in the United States and are labeled under that single word. And so the reason that it's important to get those completely out of your life in terms of things, like candles and dryer sheets and Glade plugins, and I don't mean to mention other brands, but any plugins, is because that they're endocrine disruptors. So they literally mimic our natural hormones. They attach to our hormone receptor sites, and they can really wreak havoc on the entire endocrine system. And so I think this is one of the most pervasive ingredients, concoction of many different chemical ingredients that we're dealing with today. And, when we see just so many people, so many women and men as well, suffering from endocrine cancers and disorders and, amenorrhea or whatever it may be, endometriosis. And I always say to, anyone that's suffering from any of these things, or even just as prevention, just really getting those endocrine disrupting chemicals out. And so, I go on about tons of different chemicals that you can and can't avoid or should, try not to use. And I can definitely link to different resources in the show notes. But I think in terms of the endocrine system, really zeroing in on those. And in fact, we're about to launch a campaign. And I said, we need to call it Stop Using the F Word, as in fragrance. Mm-hmm. So I would say that's a really big thing. And the number one thing, if you're going to remove anything from your home that is absolutely disrupting the endocrine system, but also is mainly a brain neurodisruptor, are pesticides. And so removal of anything that has an aside, whether it's an herbicide or a fungicide or pesticide, all of those things are lipid lovers. So they literally love fat. And what is the fattest part of our body? It's the brain. And so removing those items from the house, there really is no place for those in the home. We have a great list of alternatives for removal or killing of different insects and bugs that we can also link to in the show notes. But I would say pesticides is the number one thing to remove. And then going through and finding anything with the word fragrance or parfum should definitely be kind of out.
Mm-hmm. And then really, because I think there's like 84,000 chemicals used in manufacturing and over 700 new chemicals introduced in the U.S.
Exactly. So many grandfathered in. And, the sad part is that they are all innocent until proven guilty. And so we don't use the precautionary principle like they do in the European Union, where things are guilty until they're proven innocent or proven safe. And so, we as moms, as women, as our own, have to be our own advocates, advocating for our children and ourselves and our future children, and doing the research is really, in our own camp.
And I just got this quote here from the American Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology. So 2 common chemicals found in leather upholstery, carpet, soap, toothpaste, and even baby bottles have been linked to high infertility rates.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, even your shower curtain. I mean, the BPA, when we take a shower and then it's steaming up from the curtain, we need to make sure that we get PVC free curtains. And the great thing about this is there are so many awesome options now. I mean, it's easier and easier to switch over and to get the plastic out of our lives. And sure, I mean, you're going to buy frozen broccoli in plastic. I mean, I'm not talking about every little thing, but where we can avoid it, especially when things are being heated, absolutely never using plastic is a really great foundation to have.
Mm-hmm. Another one I had from the Human Reproductive Journal. So women with a history of miscarriage may have up to 300% more of chemical used in perfumes and cosmetics in their bloodstream than women who have never miscarried.
Yes.
Which is what you're just talking about with fragrance.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have our Fact Fridays and Wednesday Wisdom, but our Fact Fridays on our social media are actually shocking. Even me, I mean, I'm in this space and we're all as a team approving what the fact is going to be. And I just sit there looking at this fact thinking, oh my gosh, I mean, it's a lot of the science is there and it's evidence-based, but it's a matter of us really owning it and taking action at our home level.
Yeah. Yeah. Starting with our own homes, using our dollars here to demand what it is we need.
Exactly. Yeah. Power of the purse. And the National Cancer Institute actually estimates that there's been almost a 30% increase in childhood cancers since we have added pesticides, biocides, fungicides, all of those types of asides, as I was saying, into the household. And so those things were never meant to be in our homes. They were meant for chemical warfare. They were meant for, hospital use only. But now it's all of a sudden we're just, our homes are full of this low level chemical soup. And a lot of those are, neurotoxins.
Yeah, you talk about so identifying some of the toxic home cleaners. So like you said, so fragrance, anything that has a "ide" on the end of it, so pesticide, herbicide, so danger as well too. If there says danger, really, do you want to have that in your home?
Exactly. Well, and you're really hitting on a key component here, which is that the cleaning product industry is not regulated. And so when people say, well, what ingredients should I avoid in my cleaners? How do I know if they're bad or not? Like, sadly, they don't have to list their ingredients. So those chemical companies are completely protected, or I should say those cleaning product companies are protected. They can put anything in that bottle. Where they're not protected is that those ingredients have to be seen, by a government agency. And then those are translated into either, warning, danger, warning, danger, caution, or warning.
Caution, yeah.
So, that's a great way for us to know, if it's a no-go or if we can use it. And so we say at Branch Basics, if it has any of those, caution, warning, or danger, those are all red flags. And that means that the product needs to be removed because they're all signaling, the existence of ingredients that are really not good for the body. And so that's a really good way. Other warnings are, if it says eye, skin, or respiratory irritation, or rubber gloves or mask needed.
Personal protective equipment. You need to wear a hazmat suit.
Exactly. Ventilation, hazardous waste disposal. You would think that we don't really have to think about this, but it's amazing because most of the products have these things and we just continue to use them. And so, having been linked to learning difficulties and reproductive disorders, obesity, headaches, cancer, asthma, birth defects, they just don't belong inside the home. And the great thing is that they're not even necessary. I mean, it'd be one thing to say, get all the cleaning products out, your house is now going to be dirty. But that's just not the case. I mean, I'm not even touting my own product. We can have water and hydrogen peroxide and vinegar or just plain old vodka, and you can do wonders with removing germs.
Yeah. And so what about bleach?
Yeah, total no-go. Bleach is just, all of the things.
I know. And you think, like, oh, how am I going to clean my clothes? I need to have bleach. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, actually. And it's sort of thinking.
Yeah. And see, I don't even think anymore about using,
no, I don't
just imagine using bleach on my clothes. And so it's just a mindset shift. And when we start realizing that there are safe alternatives that actually work, that is such a crucial part of my statement, because, it's one thing to use the safe stuff, but then we're not going to continue to use it if it doesn't work. Let's face it, we're going to pull out the big guns. And so it's awesome that, that you can, actually get your clothes clean and not have any sort of, negative health effects.
And preservatives. Can you talk a little bit about that one?
Yes, definitely. Preservatives are a big thing. For us, in terms of our formulating, gosh, it took us over 100 iterations and about 18 months to finally settle on a formula. And one of the biggest issues was that, even though they are quote unquote non-toxic, green, and natural, we did not want to use the typical sodium benzoate, potassium sorbate, methoisodiazolone, all these preservatives that are deemed better, but in the end, some of them are even EPA registered pesticides and they're irritant. It's hard to really get around that. Most non-toxic cleaners, I would say the way that we separate ourselves from them is that we use 100% safe preservative, ingredients. And so, there's a list of several preservatives, but those are the ones that are most common. And they're also mainly found in personal care products. And so, really, wanting to clean out, like I said, in, on, and around the body, you want to be on the lookout for preservatives found in personal care products. And the EWG is a great way to go in and, you can type in a certain ingredient. You can actually pull up whether that's a preservative or not and what the rating is of that thing. So we always want to stay with a 1 on the EWG, 1 out of 10, you want to be a 1 or have an A rating. So you can kind of rate your ingredients in each of your everyday products on that site.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Skin Deep database and EWG.org.
Exactly.
Definitely check out. Okay, so how do we dispose of the conventional cleaning products? What do you recommend there?
Yeah. The best way is you can actually go to earth911.com and they'll kind of guide you through that process. You can actually also call your local Department of Works and you can ask about safe disposal of those, hazardous chemicals. You can also put them in an airtight storage bin. So like one of those plastic Sterilite containers and put them in your garage or shed, definitely outside the house, especially if you have an attached garage, you want to get them, into the backyard or shed or something until you can find a safe place for them to be. So yeah, those are kind of the methodologies of getting rid of them, and which is just so ironic is here we are, we use these products every day, but then when we want to get rid of them, we have to just call 911.
Yeah, exactly. Help, wear a suit, wear a respirator. Oh wait, but it's fine to have it in the house.
Yeah, I can't put it in I can't put it in the earth, but I could use it all over my home.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's dig into so how do we detox our home? Where do we start, and what are some suggestions you have?
Yeah, I mean, really, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but really it's about just getting things out. And, we like to say Branch Basics is an awesome product and we highly recommend it. It's awesome, but we do not want our message to be diluted. And so the goal would not be for someone to buy Branch Basics and then set it next to their, Clorox and Windex and all their other toxic products and say, oh yeah, I use non-toxic cleaning. We're like, no, we'd rather you get out of your house, all of those toxic products and just use vinegar and vodka and never even buy Branch Basics. Mm-hmm. So really it's about removal. Removal is the very first step to creating a healthy home. It's not about just going out and buying and adding, some non-toxic products to the mix. And if you go to our website and there's a free home cleanse that you can, I think you're going to put that in the show notes, but it'll guide you through with video. We also have something you can print out, and we kind of have a short and long version of the guide, and it will allow you to kind of go through the process of removal, replace, and then you would replace, of course, and restore, kind of watch your body restore. So the very first thing, as I said, was getting out the pesticides, and then next would be the, toxic cleaning products and, specifically those fragrances, and then moving on to your personal care. And, opening the windows is a great thing. I mean, just getting those CO2 levels more balanced inside the home. And, studies are showing again and again that the indoor air is up to 200 times more polluted than the outdoor air. So even just opening the windows and just getting some of that fresh air in. I mean, sadly, that's not just for someone that lives in the country. We're talking about city dwellers as well. So that's how, many of those chemicals we're bringing inside of our home. We're creating these, we have these energy efficient windows and we have this airtight space, but then sadly we have this low level chemical soup that we like to say, imagine you're walking down the cleaning aisle of a grocery store. You know exactly what aisle you're on. You're on the cleaning aisle because it smells of chemicals. And so, none of those products have been opened. A lot of them are sealed shut. And so when we purchase them, even in a small amount, that, parts per million, parts per billion, is creating that negative indoor air quality in the home.
Yeah, so really starting with removing, and then as we do our cleaning, so opening up so maybe just kind of take us through a spring clean, because it is exactly. Spring right now. So how would it? So yes. Kind of how would you do it kind of in a healthy spring clean?
Yeah, I mean, no, exactly that. And in fact, spring cleaning is not just kind of a fun thing because I guess it rhymes, but it's when our bodies naturally have this amazing propensity to let go and to detox and to cleanse. And so just like with the changing of the season, our body is doing the same thing. So it's such a wonderful time of purging those chemicals. And like I said, just going through, looking for caution, warning, danger signs on any of the products you're using and gathering everything. I mean, be like Santa Claus with a huge bag over your shoulder and just, be ruthless. Go through your cabinets. Your laundry room is a huge culprit in terms of really diminishing the indoor air quality of the home, because that's where we keep a lot of our fragrant products. And then even just the things gathering dust in the back of our, kitchen cabinets and bathroom, especially. I find that moms are like, they'll go to their kids' bathroom, especially if you have a teenage girl, and you look in the back and you're like, oh my gosh, what are all these products that have been, I'm guilty of that as well. And so really purging all of those things and getting that out. And then going through and, using a HEPA vacuum is, it's a commercial grade vacuum cleaner. They sell those. Miele is a great brand, and Nilfisk is a great brand. And we can, we have this information on our website, but going through and really making sure all the dust in the home as much as possible is picked up, because those particulates from those chemicals actually ride on dust. And so the more dust that we can remove from the home, the more, our home is just a healthier place for us to restore and rejuvenate. In fact, it's interesting. My business partner, Kelly, this is a great example of what dust can do. She actually was moving into a new home several years ago, and they, dusted, and it was all gathered kind of in one area, and she could literally smell the products that the previous owners had used just by that dust. And if you send it off to a lab, a lot of times, you'll be able to actually dissect all the, the ingredients in the products used. So dust is not just dirt in a smaller form. It really can be very toxic. And so that's a great thing to do. And then getting, an air purifier that can just continue to circulate that fresh air and making sure you're getting a HEPA filter. Those would be the places to start. And then, of course, replacing the products you threw away with, non-toxic cleaning alternatives.
Yeah. And so I guess for maybe talk about some branch basics, ones that are like the favorites and maybe talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's a really easy conversation to have because we just have one concentrate. And so we do have a couple of the products. We have dryer balls, and then we have an oxygen boost, which is essentially like a very healthy Comet, or again, I hate to name other brands, but it's a great scouring powder. So it's wonderful for adding to the wash, for brightening and whitening clothes. You can actually clean your grout with it. So it's in kind of like a powder, form. But yes, the main product is our concentrate. And that's the one that we are just so excited about and proud of, because it took us so long to come up with a product that is just 100% stable and preserved without using the toxic preservatives. And you can literally replace every single cleaning product in your home with this one product, which makes it so wonderful and just easy to really streamline the whole cleaning process and remove everything and not be thinking, oh my gosh, I have to replace my window cleaner and then my bathroom cleaner and then my floor cleaner, my stain remover. So it really does. It does all of those things, and it's safe enough to be used in a foamer wash bottle. So it has a foaming pump on the top, and it's great for hands and removing eye makeup. I actually use it on both of my babies to bathe them. And what sets us apart as well is that we list all of our ingredients on the label. And that's not required by the cleaning industry, as I said earlier. But because we do that, we can actually market ourselves as a body care product as well, since the body care industry does require that. So yeah, it's awesome. I would say the only thing we do not do, that this product does not do, is the dishwasher, but we even have dozens of customers who do use it in the dishwasher. So that would be a product that we may or may not be working on next. But yeah, it's wonderful. Just one concentrate, and then we sell empty spray bottles that allow you to dilute the concentrate with different respective amounts of water depending on the bottle. So we have all purpose, window and glass, bathroom, and street free. And so, well, I guess street free is window and glass. I apologize. And so you can just kind of like go to town with the one product, and then you never have to, buy another spray bottle again. So it's great on saving on plastic and everything. You just keep reusing the ones you have.
And what about, and I tried to get it here in Canada, but I couldn't get them delivered. So I think you before you were doing international delivery. I'm not sure if you suspended that. Maybe you're looking to bring it back again. I'm not sure.
Yes, unfortunately, we're not right now. And that's
okay.
Sad. I know. And in fact, the Canadians, oh man, you guys want it so badly. We're like a sneaky border delivery or something. But it's definitely something we are going to be working on. But I mean, to be honest, right now, we feel like we have just so many irons in the fire and trying to, kind of get back up and running, because we've only really been selling this concentrate for a couple of years. We had kind of a break in the business as we stopped to reformulate. And so that's just not our focus right now, is shipping internationally. But I can assure you it will happen, just not sure when.
So now it's just shipping to the U.S. at this stage.
Yes, just okay. US at this point. Mm-hmm.
And what about essential oils? Are we using anything there, or do you recommend any kind of do-it-yourself things with that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And a lot of people really do want that smell because, yes, this product is fragrance free. We highly recommend that people do not use any sort of even essential oil. If you're in a state of, healing, if you're chronically ill, if you're a small child, if you have children in the house or someone that's sick, unless you're really using it as like a healing modality and you have a practitioner that's, giving you a certain essential oil for healing, because they really can, when used incorrectly, can have some negative health effects, and people that are in a state of healing can be really sensitized to those things. But for those that want a fragrance, it is an awesome option. We highly recommend using one that is wildcrafted, organic, doesn't, contain any sort of solvent. So just as high quality as possible. And then just adding a couple drops to the, whatever spray bottle you want it to be in. So not adding it to the concentrate directly. We found that it's best added once you've kind of diluted and mixed in the spray bottle. So yeah, that's a great option. You can even do that for your laundry as well.
And what about, can you just go back to some of the labeling? So what for people to look out for, because this whole all natural or green, or I think there's greenwashing, there's all sorts of things going on with that. Like how would someone identify, in this case, a cleaning product that would be safe?
Yes, that's a great question. Because there's so many ingredients, it's not worth me just sitting here. I couldn't just list all the safe ingredients and then all the not safe ingredients. And so the best thing to do is just making sure that the product doesn't have the caution, warning, and danger, getting those out. And then, really what's hard about it is you can't just say, well, if you can't pronounce it, then don't use it. Because let's face it, I mean, decoglucoside is not easy to pronounce, but it's a sugar-based cleanser, and it's just totally non-toxic, And so, I mean, even, sodium bicarbonate sounds scary. In fact, my husband the other day was like, wait, this has sodium bicarbonate in it. I was like, that's baking soda. And so, we just have to be careful and just condemning these ingredients that may sound a little bit scary. And that's honestly where I think the EWG comes in. And going through and, once you've whittled it down and you are looking at a product that does not have any sort of caution, warning, or danger, you're in a really good zone there. And so you're going to find that there's not many products that fit that bill. And then once you have those, you can go into the EWG and start rating each ingredient. And so it shouldn't take long because, like I said, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but the caution, warning, and danger is pretty much on, a lot of products. So that'll really help get rid of a lot of them. And then after that, it should be just a simple list. You should see, the glucosides could be really safe. You have cocoa and laurel and decoglucoside, which are all, sugar-based. And we preserve our product with chamomile flower extract. And then, sodium bicarbonate and sodium phytate. I mean, those are safe ingredients as well. And so you'll find that those are some common ones in kind of the truly non-toxic, cleaning product realm. It is on our site. We have all these like great free downloads of how to, really find, safe cleaners, and also using things like vodka and vinegar. I mean, gosh, even just a simple Google search on how to, use vinegar and hydrogen peroxide in the home to clean pretty much everything.
Yeah, I haven't done the vodka one. I've done the vinegar one. My mom used to clean everything with vinegar. The vodka one, so that's just the same principles as vinegar.
Yeah, I mean, vodka, just gets rid of those germs, and you can use a really low grade. I'm not talking about top shelf vodka. So yeah, even the drinkers can start cleaning. They don't even have to go to the store. So yeah, vodka's great, and vinegar's good too. The only thing we would say about vinegar is you just don't want to use it liberally all the time. I mean, number one, it just doesn't work super well, especially in removing stains. It's just not going to have that same power. But also it does release, gosh, I'm totally forgetting what the name is, but it's acetic acid, I believe, that's in the air, and it can kind of disrupt the HVAC system as well as be a lung irritant, respiratory irritant for, people that are struggling with those issues. And so, and also who wants their house to smell like salad dressing? I mean, it's so much better than so many other options out there. I'm not trying to just totally, nix vinegar, but it's just one of those things that I wouldn't just spray all the time every day without just kind of knowing that there are some safety measures.
Absolutely. And so your favorite app, is it EWG or Think Dirty? Like, which one do you like for?
I think Think Dirty is great. Honestly, both of those. I think it's a matter of just user interface and what people like, the most. But I think both of those are really great resources.
Mm-hmm. So is there anything that you're obsessed with right now, from a book, a website, an app, a documentary, anything that you would just love to recommend?
Gosh, that's a good question. Let me think about that. What did I recently watch that I thought was so great? I think, it's Dr. Hyman. It's called Broken Brain.
Yeah,
yes. I just watched it too. So good.
Yeah.
Awesome. That was really, really good. And then, the documentary Stink, Stink. I mean, just stop everything and just get some popcorn and watch it. I mean, It's one of those documentaries that I feel like, there's a lot of women that can jump on board, and then they're like, but my husband doesn't want me to do this, or my husband doesn't understand, or he won't let go of his, deodorant or aftershave or cologne or whatever it may be. And then they're, they convince their husbands to at least watch this Netflix documentary. And I've heard of three husbands so far that have been totally blown away and gone and actually had this self-motivation to remove things. So it's just a great, eye-opening one to watch on Netflix, and
awesome.
It's about to be taken down or, deleted. And so might as well go watch it.
And do you have what's your favorite personal care stuff, from a deodorant to, I don't know, any kind of
Yeah. That's a great question. Primally Pure is kind of what I've been on, actually going on a year now. I started using it last June, and I love it. I mean, I really do. I struggled with breakouts for as long as I can remember, and I just feel like it does a great job just with the oil cleansing method that they use. And then they have great deodorant and good, lotions, and they have great options, great stuff for babies as well.
Oh, nice. And what about makeup? Anything that you like there?
Yeah, Well People is a great one. And then RMS Beauty is great. And then, 100% Pure is a good one. We actually just came out with, in our last newsletter, a list of do's and don'ts when it comes to, beauty, personal care products, and some of kind of the founder's favorite makeup and stuff like that. And again, there's so many great options now. I mean, it's, there is a lot of greenwashing, so we have to be careful, but it's awesome in that there are a ton of truly safe options.
Mm-hmm. And is there a success story on anything I'm sure you hear from people because they've made this change, anything you'd like to share that potentially related to fertility or pregnancy?
Yeah. Fertility or pregnancy.
Honestly, your own story is amazing. So that's probably good. But if it's not related to fertility or pregnancy, that's okay.
Well, actually, I mean, there's one that happened last week. I had an old friend call me. Actually, this was about a month ago. She called and told me that her mom has lung cancer, which is just so sad. And I ended up actually sending her the home cleanse. And I said, look, she just needs to get all of these toxic chemicals out of the home. And, I never am going to tell someone to do this treatment or don't do that treatment. But what we're saying to people, this idea of removing toxic chemicals, it's the most perfect thing to do alongside whatever you're doing with your doctor or whatever treatment plan you have, because all that it's doing is helping your body, use the energy to heal instead of use the energy to detoxify. And so she ended up, taking her mom through that, bought her mom some Branch Basics, and of course, started implementing a lot more healthy foods in her diet. And last Friday, I got a call from her saying that they did a rescan of her lungs and they looked so much better. So I know, I just thought that was just such an awesome thing to hear. And just really, again, just such a testament to the power of the body to truly self-heal if given, the right environment.
Because it seems like these changes are seemingly small, but they're actually massive.
No, that's exactly right. It's amazing. Yeah. And again, when we use these products our whole lives, it's hard to understand that they can be so bad, but it's really about the total load. And so we can use something our whole lives and it can be affecting us, but we're just not feeling it yet. Some people get symptoms immediately and others would say, oh, well, that stinks. You get headaches from this. Well, I'm like, yeah, I'd rather get a headache than be really sick in 20 years and never had any signs, and so it's really about removing those things. And then you'll find, as we have with so many people, that once you remove these toxic products, you start getting around them again. Like, you hug someone that used heavy dryer sheets, or you go back home to your parents' house and you're sleeping on, the same detergent you slept on as a child. And all of a sudden the smell is so much stronger because your body is really able to discern and it's become, sensitized, because we want to be sensitive. We want to know what our environment is doing to our bodies. And so to be desensitized is, it may be convenient at the time, but it's not healthy. So ignorance is never bliss.
That's right. Yeah. Kind of that numb thing. And then as you take it away, all of a sudden these scents become so strong. I totally noticed that myself. And then we all kind of get to that. There's that tipping point where the body no longer can handle it. That toxic load is too much. And it could be from a baby to an older, it's different for everyone, but to me, it's a whole prevention thing. You work on your mindset, you work on your diet, you work on these environmental toxins. It all matters, especially for when you're preparing to have a child. So yeah, now you've got a free download that you mentioned here. So this is the home cleanse, which they can get at branchbasics.com/home cleanse. So just kind of share a little bit of what they can get with that.
Yeah, really just the whole process of where do I start? How do I identify if the products I'm currently using are actually bad? And, what do I look for in a non-toxic product? And then, of course, it's going to start with pesticides and how to remove those. And we're not going to leave your house ridden with bugs. We have an awesome free download with all the ways to remove bugs in a healthy way. And just kind of the steps on how to create a healthy home. It's just such a great time, like we were saying earlier, to really take that on in the spring. And so, and if you're a reader, you can look at it, we have an outline that you can print out and read, or we have videos that kind of go into more depth. So yeah, I think it's an awesome resource.
Awesome. So they go to branchbasics.com/home cleanse, and I'll have the link in the show notes. And yeah, thanks so much for coming on the show, sharing about this really important topic, and sharing your really inspiring story about how you actually, because a lot of people don't figure this out, how you figured out the connection and then really healed yourself and now have 2 wonderful little children.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Sarah. This was such a pleasure. You are awesome to talk to. I feel like you just get right to the point. And so I can imagine just how much your listeners have learned from your show. So I just really enjoyed talking to you. And I feel like we're really speaking the same language. So I appreciate you having me on.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I don't know whether you've heard, but I'm offering some spaces in my calendar for Supercharge Your Fertility Discovery Calls. So this call is for you if you're ready to get pregnant naturally or improve your chances at the fertility clinic. We take a functional approach to fertility. It's the future of conventional medicine. So there's a reason that so many medical professionals who are trying to conceive work with us. The approach is rooted in science. So the call is for both you and your partner. Go to FabFertile, FabFertile.com and click on Book a Free Call. Then you'll be booked in and ready to spend 30 of the most valuable minutes ever on your fertility. So that's FabFertile, FabFertile.com, and click on the link to book a free call.